waste has been with us throughout the history of humankind. It has been a kind of a silent partner and a textbook example of small streams turning into big impacts. So here's where we are right now. According to United Nations, about 1/3 of all food that is produced for human consumption is wasted annually. Globally, that amount equals to 1.6 billion tons of food waste, with economic consequences around $750 billion. In Finland, the numbers are around 4 to 5 million kilos per year, with associated costs worth $6 million. Big numbers are sometimes a bit difficult to grasp, so maybe the magnitude is easier to understand if I tell you that if food waste were a country, it would be the 3rd largest nation in the world in terms of greenhouse gases. So, food waste is a big issue and it has huge impacts. Before jumping into our Finnish example, I'd like to mention 5 things that one needs to take into account when talking about food waste. First, measurement. There's a wide range of definitions and methods in use, which makes it very difficult to compare the results and track progress. So caution is needed here. Sources of food waste vary significantly and depend on various factors such as uneven supply and demand, infrastructure, and consumer behavior. When we talk about food waste, our focus should be on the edible fractions, because they are the ones that count from the food security perspective. Of course, the inedible ones are important as well, because often they cannot be avoided, but they can be used as raw material for more circular economy. There are also other fractions of food waste that cannot be avoided besides the inedible ones. And there are various reasons for this, food safety being among the most important ones. Last but not least, we have the concept of food waste hierarchy, and it is a way to classify how to deal with food waste if it cannot be prevented. Why did we get interested in food waste in Finland? Well, there has always been a lot of talk about food, its price, taste, nutrition, and so on. And we all have a relationship to food. But what about food waste? Do you know how much of it your household produces? What do you do with it? And are there ways to prevent it? Food is fuel for our bodies, but also fuel for our souls. But neither of these vital functions are fulfilled when food becomes waste. So we can say that food waste is waste by all possible means. We are wasting the energy, raw materials, water, and other resources that are put into manufacturing foods. We also waste the knowledge, time, money, and work, as well as the nutritional value of food. So it's easy to conclude that food waste should be avoided and that we all have a role to play in this. But food waste is also a wider societal question, and it links to many policy areas. This is a source of both solutions but also obstacles in tackling this issue. On the other hand, it makes it very interesting. Now to my Finnish example. How did we get started? The characteristics of Finnish society and culture play a crucial role here. As you might know, we are a fairly small country. We have solution-based, fairly practical attitude and long tradition of doing things together, as well as having a dialogue between public and private sector, even if we don't always agree on things. This was really crucial also in our food waste process, as various parties became interested in it. The key was to start combining these various interests and create a bigger picture out of them. You could say that our Natural Resources Institute, Luke, functioned as a catalyst in this process. When they were conducting LCA studies on food and packaging, they realized that food waste played a huge role in the results. And this basically triggered an interest to dive deeper into this topic. It steered also our focus towards food waste in terms of all the environmental, ethical and financial impacts food waste causes along the food value chain. Also other key players such as ministries, media and civil society began to take on this topic, their interest ranging from food safety to waste policy and cost efficiency. As this fairly busy slide illustrates, we started around 2008. Since then, several initiatives, incentives, but also pressures around food waste have gained momentum. During the past 12 years or so, this topic has really become mainstream in many ways, actions ranging from national policy to international cooperation. And I can tell you that there's much more to come. To give a more concrete example on what we have done, I'll tell you about our food chain commitment. As I just told you, when the discussion on food waste gained momentum, we recognized a need for a platform and a concept that would bring various parties together to make better sense of this topic and also track progress. Putting the concept together is a subject of another interesting session. So if I just jump into the end result, I can tell you that the commitment is a pilot concept in the spirit of learning by doing. Put simply, it is based on voluntary actions that aim at increasing the profitability and sustainability of food chain companies and to spread knowledge and understanding on food waste. An important reason that we succeeded to put this commitment together is the fact that the committed parties include both private and public sector, meaning us, the industry, retailers and packaging value chain, as well as the three ministries that all have their focus on food waste. In practice, what happens is that companies set voluntary goals on food waste and report on them annually. Then the results are put together by a third party to track the overall progress. And we give support to the committed companies so that we can make sure that the focus of the commitment stays sharp and serves its purpose. There was also value to the preparation process. Various ways to prevent and reduce food waste were recognized and identified. Examples ranging from product and service design to food donation models, packaging solutions and personal training and cooperation with supply chain partners. So the commitment both encourages working on these topics and sharing information and experience on best practices. What kind of achievements do we have so far? The results for the first commitment year 2019 were just published, and I can tell you that they were really promising. We have 11 companies on board. They completed over 80 actions related to food waste. Cost savings are over $5.7 million, and a reduction of greenhouse gases exceeds over 10,000 tons. And the reduction of food waste is over 3,000 tons. So based on these results, it is looking really good, and we are looking forward to get more companies on board. Our commitment is just one example among many other ones in Finland. Here is a non-exhaustive selection of other examples ranging from food waste apps to food donations, awareness raising campaigns and product development when new products are created out of the production surplus. As you can see, there are definitely multiple ways to approach this issue and a wide range of solutions available. This is what I think that we have learned so far. Food waste is a multifaceted topic. Tackling it requires multiple means and approaches. There's something for everyone in it, and that makes solving the problem a common goal. Policy plays an important role in making food waste a shared topic and creating solutions. Tackling food waste requires also tools to enable these joint actions, as our commitment that I told you about. And tackling food waste requires also patience to facilitate and negotiate, and courage to take action, which kind of takes us back to the first point on the complexity of the issue. What are we going to do next in Finland? How are we moving forward? Here's a sneak peek for you. It's the first version of the spearheads included in our national food waste prevention roadmap that is going to be completed later this year. And I think that these dimensions mirror pretty well my own findings and conclusions so far. We need regulation, we need nudging, education, there's a role to play for new technologies and research, but most importantly, we need collaboration. To me, tackling food waste is not rocket science. It's a question of attitude. And this emphasizes the importance of valuing food, both its origins and its makers. And avoiding food waste should be seen as a virtue, something that is both cool, responsible, and reasonable behavior. And we can all do our part as consumers and in our professional roles. But I believe that we can definitely do even more when approaching this topic together. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope my talk gave you new information and sources of inspiration on how to tackle food waste together.